How adventurous are you? Because in the Pikes Peak region, you can start your morning cruising through Garden of the Gods, spend the afternoon hundreds of feet above the ground on a zip line or via ferrata, and if you're really feeling brave, finish it by getting launched off the side of a 200-foot cliff. And that's only the beginning. In this video, we're building the ultimate adventure itinerary through the Pikes Peak region, with some of the best ways to explore the mountains, canyons, trails, and iconic adventures around Colorado Springs. We'll show you everything from family-friendly adventures to some of the biggest adrenaline rushes in Colorado, plus where to stay so you're close to all the action. So whether you're looking for a little thrill or ready to take things to the next level, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to add to your Colorado itinerary. Let's start your adventure in one of the most recognizable places in Colorado, Garden of the Gods. And while you can absolutely explore this park on foot or by car, Adventures Out West offers a couple more memorable ways to experience it. Their Garden of the Gods Segway Tour is a great introduction to the area, especially if you want something that feels adventurous without being physically demanding. After a quick lesson on how to operate your Segway, you'll head into the park with a guide, cruising past some of the massive red rock formations Garden of the Gods is famous for. And having a guide along for the ride makes this much more than just sightseeing. You'll learn about geology, history, plants, wildlife, and stories behind the landscape you're riding through, while still having plenty of opportunity to stop and take in the views. If you've never ridden a Segway before, don't let that stop you. They're surprisingly easy to get comfortable on, and that's part of what makes this such a fun option for families and groups with different ability levels. But if you want to trade your two wheels, well, for two different wheels, Adventures Out West also offers e-bike tours. You can explore more of the Pikes Peak region by e-bike, including the historic Gold Camp Road, where you'll ride through mountain scenery along the old railroad route that once connected Colorado Springs with the mining district around Cripple Creek. One of the biggest excursions Adventures Out West offers takes you onto America's Mountain itself. Pikes Peak rises 14,115 feet above sea level, and their Pikes Peak e-bike experience gives you an entirely different way to see the mountain. Rather than simply driving the highway, this experience starts with a guided Jeep tour all the way up to the summit of Pikes Peak. From there, you switch gears and ride e-bikes all the way back down the Pikes Peak Highway. You'll enjoy roughly 19 miles and 7,500 feet of downhill riding. There are a few short uphill sections where the electric assist really comes in handy. It's an incredible way to experience one of the most famous mountains in the country, and a perfect step if you want your Colorado vacation to include a little more action. Our next stop packs several completely different adventures into one mountainside. Just outside Manitou Springs, Cave of the Winds Mountain Park sits in an incredible mountain setting filled with adventure at every turn. If you're traveling with younger explorers or looking for something the whole family can experience, start with the Windwalker Challenge course. You'll navigate obstacles suspended above the ground, testing your balance as you make your way through the course. It's a great introduction to the adventurous side of Cave of the Winds because it gives you that feeling of being up in the air without jumping straight into one of the park's more intense experiences. If you want to take things higher, it's time for the Via Ferrata, which translates to Iron Path. It's a protected climbing route where you move across the mountainside using fixed steel cables, ladders, and iron rungs. Wearing a harness and clipped into a safety system, you'll follow the route across the rock face. This isn't traditional rock climbing, so you don't need any experience to start the climb. You'll traverse the rock face and make your way through sections that put you high above the canyon. It's challenging, incredibly scenic, and one of the most unique experiences in this part of the Pikes Peak region. And once you're comfortable being high above the canyon, all Via Ferrata tours end with the Frontier zip lines. But if you want, you can also choose just to do the zip lines. They send you flying across the canyons with views of the surrounding mountains and Manitou Springs below. But there's one adventure here that's in an entirely different category, the Pterodactyl. You're strapped into a seat on the edge of roughly a 200-foot cliff. Then the ride releases. You drop into Williams Canyon and swing out over the edge at nearly 100 miles per hour. There's no slow buildup. 1 second you're sitting on the edge of the cliff, the next you're flying through the canyon. If you're trying to find one of the biggest adrenaline rushes anywhere around Colorado, this is probably it. And after that, you might be ready for somewhere to relax for the evening. Fortunately, you don't have to go far. Manitou Springs makes a fantastic base camp for an adventure-focused trip through the Pikes Peak region. This historic mountain town sits right at the base of Pikes Peak, just west of Colorado Springs, putting you close to Garden of the Gods, Cave of the Winds, Pikes Peak, and a huge network of hiking trails. There are plenty of lodging options around town, along with restaurants, local shops, the famous mineral springs, and the Manitou Springs Penny Arcade. So after spending your day climbing, riding, or flying through the mountains, you can park the car and spend the evening exploring town. And if you wake up the next morning looking for another challenge, Manitou Springs is also home to one of the most famous hikes in all of Colorado, the Manitou Incline. This trail climbs straight up the side of Mount Manitou along the remains of an old cable railway. The incline gains roughly 2,000 feet of elevation in less than 1 mile, with thousands of steps between you and the top. It's short, but definitely not easy. And the altitude makes it even more challenging if you're visiting from lower elevations. So bring plenty of water, give yourself time, and don't underestimate this one. If the incline sounds a little too intense, there are plenty of other trails around Manitou Springs and the surrounding foothills where you can still get out and explore without starting your morning with thousands of stairs. And that's one of the best parts about using Manitou Springs as your base camp. You can make your trip as relaxed or adventurous as you want. But for our next stop, we're heading about an hour south toward Canyon City. The Royal Gorge Bridge and Park is home to one of Colorado's most dramatic landscapes. The gorge drops more than 1,000 feet down to the Arkansas River, and spanning the canyon is the highest suspension bridge in the US. Simply walking across the bridge is an experience, but we're here for the adventures. And there are 3 that deserve a spot in this itinerary. Let's start with the Via Ferrata. If you tried the Via Ferrata at Cave of the Winds and loved it, this gives you another opportunity to get onto the rock, but in a completely different setting. You'll gear up and follow your guide along routes built directly into the walls of the Royal Gorge. The scenery here is hard to beat. You're surrounded by massive canyon walls with the Arkansas River far below, and the Royal Gorge Bridge stretching across the canyon above you. And when you're ready for even more canyon views, head to the Cloudscraper zipline. This zipline sends you across the Royal Gorge itself, 1,200 feet above the Arkansas River. Instead of trees rushing past you, you're looking down into one of the deepest and most dramatic canyons in Colorado. It's fast enough to be exciting, but the sheer scale of the gorge and the unique perspective of the bridge make it feel almost relaxing as you take it all in. There's also the Royal Rush Sky Coaster. You'll be harnessed in and slowly pulled backward and upward until you're hanging high above the edge of the gorge. Once you reach the top, someone in your group pulls the release cord, and you free fall toward the canyon. After the initial drop, you'll swing out over the edge of the Royal Gorge at speeds that can reach up to 50 miles per hour. With the Arkansas River more than 1,000 feet below you, the sense of height is absolutely incredible. Between the Via Ferrata, Cloudscraper zipline, Sky Coaster, and simply walking across the Royal Gorge Bridge itself, you can easily spend a large part of your day here. And that's really the theme of this entire itinerary. You don't have to experience Colorado from behind a car window. You can climb it, ride it, hike it, zip across it, and even get launched off the side of it. Whether your idea of adventure is cruising through Garden of the Gods on a Segway, hiking the Manitou Incline, riding an e-bike through the mountains, or hanging more than 1,000 feet above the Royal Gorge, there's an adventure in the Pikes Peak region for just about every comfort level. You definitely don't have to do everything in this video in one trip. Pick the experiences that fit your group, make Manitou Springs your base camp, and build your own adventure from there. If you're still planning your Colorado vacation, subscribe and check out the rest of the videos on our channel. We've got complete guides on many of these attractions, along with itineraries, tips, and plenty more ideas to help you plan your trip through the Pikes Peak region. We'll see you in the next adventure.